Welcome to our channel, Gaming Duology.
Okay, so if you want that feeling like you just won the lottery, or like you just got that graphics card that you really wanted for the past 2 years and were finally able to get it because it came back in stock, you're really going to want to know about all the perks that you can get in New World. This is super important because you can actually guarantee the rolls on all your crafts on these. And this will be important whether you want to sniff some hemp, hit some rocks, or stabby a deer. Or, play with your woody in game. Alright, so when you start New World, the first thing that you're going to have to do is get your main tools. These are going to be your flint skinning knife, your flint harvesting knife, your flint mining pick, and your flint logging axe. And one thing you might notice is they're all flint, and they actually all have the exact same recipe of 1 flint and 1 green wood. You're going to see this trend throughout the video. New World, the company Amazon, is really good at copying and pasting across the board. Now another thing that's going to trend as we continue through these tiers is actually the speed bonus that you get for upgrading on each tier. For flint it's 100, for iron it's 125, for steel it's 250, for Starmetal it's a 400 increase, and in Orichalcum it's a total of 625. This is the same for each type of tool. Now if we start looking at which ones we want to upgrade to, well, if you're looking at just speed, you're going to probably want to quickly get to the steel one due to its increase. At first you get a 25% increase, but after that it's a 125% increase. Steel is actually pretty easy to get to as well. You only need a smelting skill of level 50, a smelter at level tier 2, and a workshop at tier 3 inside your town. And if you're wondering how this is going to help you get the lottery, speed alone won't. But being able to get to those higher tiers like rushing to steel will actually allow you to get higher chances of getting perks on the previous tier. So if you want all the perks, you can rush to steel, and once you're able to make steel, you can go back and make iron to get a higher chance of getting better perks on those items. And what I mean about getting better perks, well, you get higher percentages and better chances, but you will have to keep in mind the gear score. You can only have a maximum gear score on some of these items, like 300 for the iron sickle or 100 for the flint, which means it can only go so high for a lot of these perks. And then you're going to have to move up to the next tier to get even better items. And the types of perks that you're going to be able to get on these items are going to be luck or the chance of rare item drops. Then there's also yield, which just increases a percentage of the amount that you get out of it. And then XP, which will just increase your level. And I believe that's just your proficient level, not your actual character level. And then you also have weight. This will decrease the items in that particular profession. So if you're doing logging, it'll decrease the weight of the logs that you get from the trees. The last perk you can get is actually for Azoth drop. This increases the chance of you getting Azoth after harvesting a node. This is actually pretty important if you want to increase your Azoth amount to use it on crafting or to use it for fast travel. Now the Azoth perk is really powerful, and I wasn't able to find an item that actually drops you a guaranteed roll when crafting, but that's okay, because early game there may be better options out there, since Azoth is only used for fast traveling and for crafting more rare gear, which is going to be much more important at the later tiers, and it'll also require a lot more Azoth. The other thing is, in the beginning of the game you actually have an Azoth cap, so even though you'd be gaining it, if you're not using it fast enough, it's pretty much useless. As for the other perks, when looking at each individual profession, there are 3 items that give you guaranteed rolls that are actually kind of copy and paste between each different profession.
These items are the steel charms, Starmetal charms, and Orichalcum charms, which can be found in supply caches and crates, tier 1 through 3, as well as ancient coffers and ancient urns, also tier 1 through 3. But we'll make a separate video about what other items can be found in these caches and crates, and where to find them on the map. So don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can see that in the next video.
The other 3 items aren't as copy and pasted. Let's take skinning for example. This will have the pristine animal thing, the jagged animal thing, and the animal thing. You get these from shanking all the animals in the jungle, and you get them from all the predatory animals like your bears, your wolves, or your boars. Now the pristine animal thing will give you adored skinning luck. This will guarantee this roll, and it has a 5 to 9.5% skinning drop rate for this specific item. So this is going to be one of your higher tier items, whereas the jagged animal thing gives you the skinning luck perk. This is more of a lower tier one. This is 2% to 5% for rare drops. So it's pretty much the same as the pristine, just not as cool. And then we have the animal thing. This one gives you Tanner's Burden. So this reduces weight of skinning items. So that's going to be your meat and your hide. The other three that are all copied and pasted across the professions just have a different name in between. So this is going to be your Orichalcum Skinning Charm, your Starmetal Skinner's Charm, and your Steel Skinner's Charm. The Orichalcum will give you Skinning Yield perk, and that's 10 to 19%, and then your Starmetal Skinning Charm will give you Skinning Luck, and that'll increase your rare drops by 2% to 9.3%. And then your Steel Skinner's Charm. This gives you Tanner's Discipline, which just increases your XP. This is great when you're leveling and you want to increase that skinning skill fast. Alright, and if we look at harvesting, you have those three different ones. You get these ones just by sniffing the hemp or harvesting the silkweed or wire fiber. The names of these are going to be your verbena flower, your verbena leaf, and your verbena stem. Now, these have the same similar perks, so you have Adored Harvesting, Reinforced Harvesting, and Burden, and just to recap that, that's 5 to 9.5% in rare drops for the Adored Harvesting, 2 to 5% for the Reinforced Harvesting, and 5 to 10% for the weight reduction for the Burden. And you guys might already be seeing the pattern here. You have 3 items that come from your actual profession, and 3 items that come from supply crates or caches. And for harvesting, the 3 that come out of the crates are going to be your Orichalcum Botanist Charm, Starmetal Botanist Charm, and Steel Botanist Charms. You can kind of tell by the name that they're same as the ones from the skinning. They also give you the same perks as well, just for harvesting though. Now if we take a look at mining, there is an outlier here. So if we take a look at the 3 that generally come from your profession, you have Chunk of Cobalt, Shard of Adderstone, and Silver of Cobalt. The one that doesn't come from ores is your Shard of Adderstone. This one comes from mobs. And again, the one that comes from supply crates and coffers, that's going to be your Orichalcum Miner's Charm, Starmetal's Miner Charm, and Steel Miner's Charm. All the perks are pretty much the same as the other ones as you can see on the screen, so I'm not going to read those off to you guys again. Alright, and now hi-ho, off to logging we go. Alright, so if we take a quick look at logging, this one follows the same trend as skinning and harvesting, where the 3 items that you get are from the actual profession. This is Draught of Sap, Vial of Sap, and Drop of Sat. This one also follows the same perks, so you get the Adored Logging Luck, Reinforced Logging Luck, and the Burden. And with those perk percentages, those are all the same as the skinning, harvesting, and mining. Now that we're done with all the tree juices, we can move on to the Orichalcum Lumberjack's Charm, Starmetal Lumberjack's Charm, and the Steel Lumberjack's Charm, which also follows that same trend as the other ones. Now, if we look at some of the best perks, one of them is Azoth. That's actually my favorite because it allows me to craft more items at higher rarity. This is super important to me since I want to make money off of making good items. Then there's also the fast travel. This is also great for when I'm overweight and I want to take all my resources from one place to another. The next perk to look at is increase of rare drop chance. This is great if you're looking to make some money because you can sell all these items on the market, and late game if you want to make those awesome weapons. The third perk is yields. This one is great for when you want a lot of resources. This is going to be awesome early on for when you want to just sell a bunch of stuff on the market or you want to level up your crafting skill because you need a lot of items to level that up. As for the burden perk, this one is okay. It can reduce your weight and it might be better in late game. I don't know if the items in late game weigh more or not, but that might be a thing. And it will also be more of a thing when you can actually carry more in the late game because that 10% decrease in weight will actually give you a lot more decrease of weight the more you have on you. Early game, you're getting, like 20 weight taken off versus end game where you can have significantly more weight taken off because of this perk. If you want that winning lottery feeling like I was talking about earlier, luck is the way to go. And the great thing is there's even more items that can increase your luck. And one of the things that increases your luck even more is trophies. These are just added to your house. They're specific for each profession. If we look at skinning for an example, this one gives you the minor skinning gathering trophy, the basic skinning gathering trophy, and the major skinning gathering trophy. This will give you 500 points to skinning luck bonus, 1,000 points, and 1,500 points. Now I don't know what these points exactly translate into. My best guess is going to be the 500 is 5%, the 1,000 is 10%, and the 1,500 is 15%, but it could also be another decimal point over. So it could be 0.5%, 1%, and 1.5%. But until I actually get to test this out in game, I won't know, but I'll be able to give you guys an update if you guys would like. Just let me know down in the comments below. Now taking a look at some more of these trophies for the other professions. So you have Harvesting, which is the Minor Harvesting Gathering Trophy, Basic Harvesting Gathering Trophy, and Major Harvesting Gathering Trophy. This follows the same pattern as the Skinning for the points that it gives, as well as the other professions like Mining, where you have the Minor Mining Gathering Trophy, Basic Mining Gathering Trophy, Major Mining Gathering Trophy, and then for Logging, it's the Minor Logging Gathering Trophy, Basic Logging Gathering Trophy, and Major Logging Gathering Trophy. And as a side note, since this is a lot more late game, I won't be going too deep into this, but there's a lot of armor pieces that'll give you a lot of bonuses as well for each profession. Alright, so all the armor pieces that you can get follow the same pattern, kind of like with everything else, just copy and pasted. So for Skinning, for example, you have the Skinner's hat, Skinner's shirt, Skinner's glove, Skinner's pants, and Skinner's shoes. Now the stats on this, it'll give you 15 to 20 dexterity on each piece, and then for the buff, it'll give you 3.8 to 5% increase in rare drop for each piece. And then the downside to this is you'll need to be in the range where you can wear 400 to 600 gear score for these items. And before I put on my Gordon Ramsay's cooking hat, we need to go over some potions. So these are kind of generic and they'll go for all the professions. And these proficiency boosters I feel like are really underrated. They'll increase your yield. This is going to be great because it affects everything at the same time. So if you're doing Skinning and then you go to Mining, it'll actually affect both of them with one potion. And for the majority of your leveling, I'm going to say the best one's going to be the Weak Proficiency Booster. Even though this one only gives you an increase of 5% yield for 10 minutes, it is super easy to make, and you can actually make a lot of these really quickly. All you need to do is harvest one Soul Sprout and one Shock Bulb, which will give you 6 to 9 Soul Motes and 6 to 9 Air Motes. Then all you have to do is get the water, which means you have a minimum of an hour of time of that yield increase. Alright, so now we're going to need to get into that food. So let's put on that Chef Ramsay hat and let's take a look. Foods are going to be great to increase that luck, which you need luck to get those rare items like I was saying before, so you can get that feeling of winning the lottery. All the foods for each food profession do follow a pattern. These are going to be separated by tier, but each tier has the same perk. For tier 1, it'll increase your luck by 1,000 points. For tier 2, it'll increase it by 1,400. For tier 3, it'll be 1,700. For tier 4, it'll be 1,900. And for tier 5, it'll be 2,000 points of luck. The other commonality that each profession has is tier 4 and 5 foods. You must find the recipes and you can't learn them through leveling up. And for each of them, they all have a specific base ingredient that you use in each of the recipes. If we look at Skinning, this is carrots. It's like if you skin things, they think you're a rabbit or something. But besides that commonality for Skinning foods, the first recipe is actually pretty easy. It's 1 carrot, 1 honey, and 1 nutmeg. All those items are pretty easily defined. But if we continue down the list, it gets harder and harder to make the more complicated items, and this increased difficulty is going to make it great for anybody who wants to go into that cooking profession. And another pattern you might notice as you go up the tiers in food, each tier only adds 1 additional ingredient per tier. And for the names of all the Skinning foods, that's going to be roasted carrots, which is your tier 1, herb roasted carrots, which is tier 2, carrot soup for tier 3, vegetable boil for tier 4, and spicy steak savory fish cakes for tier 5. Okay, so now that we know that tier 1 gives you 1,000 luck, tier 2 gives you 1,400 luck, tier 3 gives you 1,700 luck, and tier 4 gives you 1,900 luck, and tier 5 gives you 2,000 luck, and that as you go up in each tier, you gain 1 more ingredient to get to that next tier. I'm just going to go over all the names of each food in the professions and just throw everything up on screen so you can see what ingredients you do need to make each of these foods. Alright, so for harvesting, we have cooked corn, we have cornbread, we have herb crusted corn on the cob, we have breakfast bread, and we have spicy steak pie. And if we take a look at mining, we have roasted potatoes, herb roasted potatoes, boiled potatoes, poultry with roasted potatoes, and salted roasted potatoes. And to finish us off with logging, we have roasted cabbage, boiled cabbage, herb roasted cabbage, cabbage wrapped roasted fish, and salt poultry with cabbage. Just remember, all the videos we have been making are before the game has released, so everything is subject to change. Alright, so if you notice, the last profession I haven't talked about is going to be fishing. This is because this is completely different than all the others, and there was no copying and pasting to make this one. If you guys need even more fishing information than this, go to Dynomega's fishing channel, and he's got tons and tons of information on New World fishing. He covers absolutely everything about fishing that you could ever want or need. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check him out. Now, if we take a look at all the fishing poles, we can quickly see this is a lot different than the other profession tools, where this one doesn't give you a speed bonus, and it does make sense why. It's a fishing pole. You're not harvesting anything. But what it does is it gives you an increased chance to catch rare fish. Now this is going to be great for anyone who wants to do fishing. And if we take a look at the first two tiers, the pole that I would pick is the one with the best perk. And this is because your bonus to catching rare fish is 0% increase on both of these poles. And after we get through the first two tiers, which is your wooden fishing pole and your treated fishing pole, I would go with the highest tier you can possibly get for each of the fishing poles. For the tier 3, it's aged wood fishing pole. For tier 4, it's the wirewood fishing pole, and for tier 5, it's the ironwood fishing pole. There are other legendary poles that you can get, but I'm not going to cover those here. Fishing also has armor you can wear. This will increase your chance at getting more rare fish and bigger fish. But in order to wear these armors, you do need to be a pretty high level, so I'm not going to go too deep into this one either. And I would love to go over what items will give you guaranteed rolls on your armor or on your fishing rods, but frankly for fishing, there really weren't any items that I could find that did this for you. Now if you want to catch bigger fish, you better use the right bait. For saltwater, this is going to be the electric eel bait, the snail bait, and the fish bait. The best thing I can say to increase your chances is to get the correct bait. For electric eel bait, this is going to be your best saltwater fish that'll give you an increased chance at a bigger fish. You get this from salvaging electric eels when you catch them. Now for the snail bait, this one will give you a 300% increased chance, and you salvage it from snails. For the fish bait, it's 150% chance increase, and you actually craft this in the cooking station. For the freshwater baits, they follow the same pattern. So it goes 500%, 300%, 150%. For your 500%, it's going to be your oyster bait, which you obviously get from oysters, clam bait, which you can salvage from clams, and then meat bait, which again, that's going to be your cooking station. And if we look at getting rare or better fish, this follows a similar pattern. So each of them have 3, and the percentages go 85, 70, and 47. For freshwater, we'll start out with the firefly bait. This one gives you that 85%. Then you have the woodlouse bait. This one gives you 70%. And the bread bait, that's 47%. And if we move into the saltwater, we have the glowworm bait, which gives you the 85%, nightcrawler bait, which gives you that 70%, and then we have the cheese bait, which gives you 47%. The third one in each of these all are from the cooking provisioning. The rest of these are actually bugs. So if you compare these two, if you want bigger fish, you actually need to go fishing and reuse those salvages to go fishing again. Now if you just want more rare fish, you actually have to go and harvest bushes and stuff to get the more rare fish, because they're mostly just bugs. The other thing to take notice here is for your saltwater bait, to get more rare fish, you're going to be looking at specific times of day to get these. So these are going to be during the night or the dawn. And that's for the glowworm bait and the nightcrawler bait. And the other reason I left fish for last is because I haven't found any potions or anything like that that actually affects this. All the potions and everything else we talked about before this only affected the other professions. Now, that's pretty much all I have to go over, so if anything changes or if there's any new information I find, I'll come up with a new video. But other than that, just enjoy desecrating the landscape or emptying all the fishing pools. Now let's go destroy the world together. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget that notification icon to get all of our future videos.
We will be going over more resources as time goes on, so please like and subscribe and follow us on Twitch in the description below.
We'll see you guys later.
Tschüss!